Okay, I will start, right?
Yep.
Hey, there
Thank
we
you,
go.
Pratik. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thanks for joining us today. Take it away. Good luck.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. So first of all, I would like to thanks the organizers for organizing this virtual event in this uncertain time. And I would also like to thank all the attendee for joining this session from home virtually and supporting the community. That's really appreciated. My name is Pratik Satikuvar. I'm working on Sitecore for almost 6 years now. I'm Technology MVP 2020. I'm active on Slack, Twitter. You can reach out there, writing blog posts on my site. And currently, I'm working as a solution architect at Horizontal Dubai location. That being said, today we are going to talk about Sitecore Commerce Analytics. So if you have enabled the commerce functionality or commerce product on your Sitecore project, and if you are not using the analytics feature, which is specific for Sitecore Commerce, then you are missing a lot. It's very common, and we have seen in many solutions like Sitecore Analytics is not being used at full optimum what we can get from that in normal even site XP platform as well. So there could be a couple of reasons behind that. Like first, there isn't any specific need for commerce or normal analytics. Second, marketers are not aware of what is being offered out of the box, which they can use and start utilizing, start away without any development or something like that. Third, it could be infrastructure or setup issue, like it's not working at all. We have seen so many times that analytics is completely not working, so they cannot use that. Or last, like the functionality which or strategy which marketers have defined is not meeting out of the box, and developer hasn't developed custom anything which could deliver their needs. So those are the reasons behind not using analytics. And with new product like Sitecore Commerce, when we set up and when we start, it's very easy to miss these analytics. So that's what the agenda of this topic is, to let you know what comes with Sitecore Commerce Analytics. So we'll be starting with basic architecture where Sitecore Commerce Analytics fits. How does it add the functionality to existing Sitecore Experience Platforms analytics capability? That's high level. And then we'll be starting on the different use cases based on how user interacts with your site, whole journey of the user from landing on your site to purchase. And based on that user journey, we'll be having different use cases. And if for each use cases, we'll be talking about two things. That's same structure for all the use cases. First thing, for marketers, what is being offered in terms of analytics, in terms of experience analytics reports and all different things, so that they can be aware like what is there out of the box, which is coming with Sitecore Commerce, which I can utilize, and I can enable that, define strategies. And the second thing for developer is like how does that works in background, what kind of extension point, so that we can customize if we require, and what's the point if existing functionality is not working. So those the structure, we'll be going through use cases based on user journey. For now, we'll be starting with the architecture of Sitecore Commerce Analytics, where it does it fit. So this is normal our XM or XP platform, where we have all the CMS core CMS capabilities, and then this EXM and all those stuff. And then we are adding these commerce capabilities, and we are using the Sitecore Commerce Engine as a commerce product. And if we expand that, then there is a Commerce Connect layer in between, which sits in between your site, which is your storefront site, and your backend commerce system. Here it connects with Commerce Engine Connect to Sitecore Commerce Engine. So we will not talk much about Sitecore Commerce Engine. We already had few webinars on that. You can go out there. We'll sideline this Commerce Engine part, and we'll focus on which is there in right side, the XP platform and the Commerce Connect part. So it is now if we expand the XP platform or analytics platform, which is there in normal Sitecore product, then we'll find a lot of XConnect services there. XConnect collection and search indexers, jobs, and all those things. Along with that, we have marketing automation engine, which is responsible for marketing automation plans and all those things. And all those services interacts with the XDB database and reads and writes data to data of contacts into XDB database. And how this commerce related analytics capabilities being added. So that is being added in this middle part, which is Commerce Connect as part of Commerce Connect. And what are those actually is if we expand this Commerce Connect, and these are the elements which is being added along with commerce, which adds the functionality of analytics, which is specific for commerce. So with Sitecore Analytics Commerce, we got these page events, goals, outcomes being added. We also have a few condition rules, which we can use for personalization. We got few marketing automation plans, conditions, and activities specific for commerce. And we also have extension analytics dimensions added, which will enable us to see the extension analytic reports, which is specific to commerce. So this is the overall architecture, like how you already have Sitecore and Sitecore analytics capability. And this is how the analytics capability specific for commerce is being added to your Sitecore architecture overall. Now we will jump into use cases, as we mentioned, like based on user journey, we'll have different use cases, and we'll talk about what marketers gets and what is there for developers. So first use case could be like a customer lands on your site, be it product or category page, either from search engine, or it could be from social media, or it could be due to a campaign which you are driving. And when they land on the pages, when they surf the site, products, categories, what you get as marketer is this categories reports, second, this products reports, and the experience profile reports for products. So we'll see this live in action. How does that looks like? So this is the category dashboard on my Experience Analytics tab. And if I just refresh, we should have data. So the first part is categories viewed. It shows the graph and duration. So a particular duration of time, how many categories being viewed by customers, that you can get idea based on this. So if you are running some campaigns for particular duration, then you will get some idea that whether that's how that's performing. Second is most viewed categories. So based on this, you can identify which are the categories being viewed by customers mostly, and you can define your strategy as marketers based on that, how you want to define what for the fortune that particular categories. And at the end, we have this table which again says the same thing, which is most viewed categories, but you will get all different information about visits, and you have the duration and all those things, and you can also see all the different categories which are being viewed. So this is the report from where marketers will get idea of how category is performing, which category is popular, and what are user interested in, and which categories need more attention. The second Experience Analytic report was about products. So similar to categories, we have this product view, detail viewed. So at specific duration of time, how many products has been viewed by customers, you can get that information using this graph. And then you get these two graphs here. Instead of one graph in categories, you have two graphs here. One is most viewed products details. So these are the product detail pages which has been viewed by your customers most. So if you see, first one is the Habitat Sentinel learning product, which has 7 views. And the right side you have the important graph, which is bestseller. So which will let you know which are the products which is getting sold most. And if you hover the first one, which is Habitat Striva, which has four time user has bought this product. So based on this two graph, you'll be able to identify as a marketer that what are the products being most viewed by customers against what are the products being purchased by customer. So if this is not matching, then you probably will need to identify some time to investigate what's going wrong with the products which is getting viewed mostly, but it is not converting into bestsellers. So those kind of information marketers get from these reports. And again, the same you get the same most viewed product details as a table, and you can show more, and that's how you can navigate to all the products which is getting viewed given specific duration of time. So using this analytics report, you get the idea of overall how my products or particular products or particular category is performing. Now we also have this experience profile where the commerce specific tabs has been added. It shows different data specific to commerce. And now if I go to a particular contact or particular customers, then I will be able to identify what kind of products that particular customer is interested in, he's viewing. So these are the products these particular customers has viewed. You will get all the information like product ID, product name, the price of the product, and number of time they have viewed, and all those information. So in first place, you get all the information, overall information about categories and products. At second place, in experience profile, you get the information about what particular contact is interested in. And later you can utilize this information to define your strategy and give some particular private coupons or deals to that particular customer if you want. So those are the reports for the first use case for marketers. And if we switch to presentation, then what's there for developers, like how this all works. So that basically starts from these two components, which is getting added to partial designs for particular page designs of category and product page, visited category page and visited product page, which then when page will be loaded, this will be triggering the few pipelines which will at the end will raise these events. So when this happens, what actually happens is it raises few page events. Once for category, it's a category page. For product, it's a visited product detail page. And as a marketer and as a developer, both we need to be aware what we are storing in these events, which will be eventually stored to your interaction onto the contact. So for category, we are storing category ID, category name, and shop name. And for product, we are storing, along with category, we are storing product ID, product name, and shop name. This which can be later retrieved to show on your analytics reports, to show on your experience profile dashboard, or to utilize this in your custom personalization condition as well, that for which kind of category this particular contact has visited. So you can use this data. So you need to be mindful what is getting stored, so that's how you can retrieve that later. And these are the pipelines which is responsible for raising these events. So these are the events name which has been defined here, which you can find on your Sitecore settings, analytics, Commerce Connect location. These are the events pipelines which is responsible for raising this event and store all this data onto interaction and on contact. And you can find this catalog related information on sitecore.commerce.catalogs.config. Now from that pipelines, we are raising these pipelines and processors, and what does actually it does do? It stores the it raises few page events specific for commerce and stores to interaction and onto contact. Then what is this analytics data? So to store this and retrieve all the information which is about page events onto interaction or contact, this specific analytics data has been defined for each event. The purpose of this is to streamline the how you retrieve and how you store data into Sitecore. So if you can directly register any event or any goal or any outcome using marketing definitions API as well. You can specify custom data there, what you want for that particular event or goal or outcome. But later, if Sitecore changes the implementation, then probably you will see issues there that might not work properly. So anything, if you want to change in how data is getting retrieved or data is getting stored onto that particular event or goal or outcome, you can utilize this. You have to utilize this analytics data, which is specific for each and every event. So each and every user journey which we are tracking into analytics for customer, each have this analytics, specific analytics data defined, so which you can modify. So these are the main things which, as a backend developer, which we need to be aware. What is getting stored? What are the events, goals, and outcomes being raised, and these analytics data. The second use case is if user doesn't find anything relevant product or relevant category on your site, then probably he'll try to search, or he will try to filter, or he will try to sort a few things on your site to find out the product which he wants. Here we have some fun facts, like nowadays users are becoming more interactive. They are not just visiting and just leaving the site. They are more kind of interacting on your site. So for example, if 30% users are now providing feedback or placing reviews, so those are also the journeys which can be tracked, similar to the search event or sorting or filter. And then that can be utilized further to specify some personalization or giving some deal to that particular users. So that code that can be utilized. So you can consider all such events, and you can raise different kind of events for that, customize that. Now we'll see what we get for search, sort, and filter. So for search, we get these two reports, and then we get this report for filtering and sorting. If we go to search first, then we have these two graphs here, which show side by side. One which shows the top keyword which return the fewest results, and the second it's against, like, it shows the top keywords which return most results. So these are the graphs from where you can identify which are the keywords people are searching most, and which are returning results against which are not returning results. So this smartwatch, people are searching more, but it's not returning the result. So that might be a case to further fine tune. So based on that, marketers can define these strategies. And also there is one graph at the bottom, like if you initiate the search, and then in same session, if you complete this full order journey, then that will be specified here. So it will show all the keywords which lead us to generate revenue. Then second, we have filtering and sorting. So you can get the information about what are the facets of filter getting applied on your category page, where you are showing the list of products. Based on that, you can come to know these are the facets or filters getting applied mostly. Then probably as a marketer, I might want to set up a different specific page, landing page for this category or this facet. So all those kind of decisions marketers can make from this data. From sort option, you can utilize that if we have implemented some recommended analytics or AI-based sorting, searching approach for your site, then people actually using that or not, or people are directly going to sort by ratings or sort by reviews or sort by price. So all those information which will be very helpful for you if you are like implementing some AI-based recommended sorting and searching, then you can come to know whether that's being actually used or not, and you can fine tune that. And again, for developers, these are the page events which is getting saved onto interaction customer. I will not go into detail much. You can go through these details. This is important, what is being stored. We have a specific event for each user journey: search, facet applied, and product sorting. And these are the different pipelines which is responsible for raising these events. And these are the specific analytics data which is responsible for how data is getting stored onto those events and how data is getting retrieved. Now, once user land on your site, on your landing page, if he doesn't find anything, he search, he finds the correct product which he wanted, then probably he will perform few operation on your cart. He will add to cart, probably will leave or remove and then update. So as a marketers, you got these shopping cart activity reports where you get products added to cart, removed, and updated on cart. And also you get reports in experience profile where specific contact what he's doing with those shopping cart activity. We'll switch to shopping cart activity report. So you can see these are the products which is frequently removed from cart. So probably as a marketer, you might want to see why people are removing that after adding to cart. These are the products which are frequently added to cart. So these can be compared with best sellers. Like these are the products getting added to cart, but what are the best seller products which is actually getting converted into orders? And these are the products which is getting updated on cart. So once we add on to cart and we are changing the quantity or something like that on that particular product on cart. And in experience profile, we have this shopping cart activity where I get all the information this particular user has performed on cart, what kind of line items he removed, how many quantity were there, what were the price, what are the line items he added, and what are the line items he updated. This can be again retrieved later for giving personalized content or personalized offer to that particular user. So this data is important. Again, for developer, these are the page events being raised for add to cart, removed from cart, and update from cart. And these are the pipeline responsible for raising these events. And these are the analytics data which are responsible for storing and retrieving those data into interaction, which can be modified as per your need. Now we user interacted on your site, perform few activity on cart. Now unlikely if user will complete the order journey, they might leave your site and abandon the cart. So we'll have these reports related to abandoned cart. Few facts we have. So overall in e-commerce site, we have seen very high rate, around 70% of abandonment, cart abandonment rate. Which is a serious topic for marketers to fine-tune the strategy for the abandoned cart, and we'll see what Sitecore gives them out of the box to tune their strategies. Few more states like why people are abandoning the cart. So first reason is the extra cost to buy. We are adding product to cart and then we are fine with product. We are reaching to final step, checkout steps, and then we are finding we have additional shipping charge or tax charge, and then people are appending the cart. And the second most reason for appending the cart is user site wants user to create an account, and that account form has so many details to fill out. So all those information to provide for user is time consuming, so probably they are abandoning the cart. So those are the strategies which marketers can define. And this fact, like everyone loves to purchase what they added to cart. Due to one or another reason, they are not unable to purchase that. And if you provide a specific deal on what's abandoned on cart for two particular those items, it's more likely 54% of shoppers will get back and will purchase those. So for abandoned cart, Sitecore out of the box provides this marketing automation campaign where this user contact will be enrolled to these campaigns on any of the activity like add to cart, remove from cart, or update on cart. For now, this is working for authenticated user, which is also enabled for unauthenticated user in Sitecore 9.3. So once user perform any of three activity on site, like add, remove, or update cart, then it will enroll to this particular marketing automation plan. And that same information would be displayed in experience profile as well, where particular user if has abandoned anything, then you can get all the information there. Now, if we switch to marketing automation plan on site, then these two are the out of the box plan we get. One is abandoned cart, which we just saw. This is a start, user will enroll in any of three activity, then we'll wait for the check cart activities. If user performs any operations on cart, add, edit, remove on this certain duration, then user will move to right side where we'll be delaying and again will return to start and will again wait. And if user doesn't do any activities on cart during this specified time, then we'll move forward to our plan. We'll check whether cart is not empty, user has email, and then we'll be sending this email to user for amended cart that you have missed these cards and you can go back and resume your cart. And after this much of delay, this for testing purpose, so I have short amount of time. Otherwise, we'll have time defined here for user to resume the cart. And then if user doesn't resume cart in given duration, then raise amended cart outcome and page event will be raised, which will be able to see in reports. And these are the mail which will be generated from out of the box. We generated this using EXM and this automation campaign. So this is my user. I left this product and I got this mail like it's not too late to shop. You can resume your cart. You can define your strategy based on that, whether if you also want to include some related products to this, like if you also interested in this, if not in this product which is there in your cart. So all those things you can define as marketers. And in experience profile, we have this tab for abandoned carts. So it will show the carts which I have, this particular user has abandoned. So I have two abandoned carts. One had two quantity, one had one product. These are the number of items and total amount which has been abandoned. If I click on particular abandoned cart line item, then it will show all the details of what has been abandoned, what was the product I added, and all those things. And these are the page events for abandoned cart which is getting raised, and also it's a kind of big outcome for our site. So outcome is also being raised with this. So this is the outcome being raised and data being stored. Again, these are the templates, conditions, and activities which you saw on the plan, which is getting added specifically for commerce or in terms of marketing automation. These are the pipelines for add, remove, cart, and update cart, which will be responsible for raising this. There are a few interesting facts about how this abandoned cart, what should be the name, and all those things which will be covering later. And these are the outcome data which is responsible for storing and returning the information onto the instruction. Now, once we abandon the card, probably if we have provided a good deal to user, and now user is happy with that deal and we want to place an order, then we'll get this information about order once user place. It's one fact, like nowadays we are seeing like once we purchase something from one site, and then probably if we are happy, then we are returning to the site as many as 30%. So it's very essential to convert lead and for first time customer to a first time customer, lead to a first time customer, and then probably that first time customer will come again and will be repeated customer. For orders, we get this dashboard. We'll get total count, values, and values per counts, and all this information. And we will also get information about a particular user has placed order, so that can be utilized in personalization, conditions, and all those things. whether user has placed order, whether user has placed this much amount of order, and all those things. Quickly see. So these are the total count it shows, total values it shows, and value per count. Total order amount you can find here, which has been placed. This shows total order ID. This is the order ID. In real time, you can change this order ID to something relevant to your site based on how you external system integrate based on that. And based on that, you can identify this order has the maximum amount and this order has maximum items. And this is the number of orders being placed. So as marketer, you get all this information for given particular time duration. And in experience profile, I get information about what orders this particular user has placed. And similar to abandoned cart, if I click on this, it will give me all the information about the status of the order, the subtotal and totals, and the line adjustments, billing information, shipping information, the lines which I added to cart, and all those things. So this will be very useful. And we also have one marketing automation plan, which is getting introduced for order. This plan is there in 9.2, where once user places an order, it will be enrolled directly to this plan, and this plan will send an email, which is thank you and order confirmation email. So if you want to see that email, this is the email which I received when I placed an order. I get few information like order number, date, status, and all the delivery information and cart lines which you added to that order. And further, you can fine tune this based on your requirement. You can send enrolled user to different plan once exits from this plan. And after a few days, you can ask for feedback or send few more relevant products. So those kind of customizations you can do. Again, this is the goals outcome being stored once order is created. Marketing definition and activities. The pipelines are responsible for raising this. And these are analytics and outcome data, which are responsible for showing, retrieving and storing data. From customer's point of view, we have few reports, and we also have some facts like most of the user admits that they won't be entering the correct data or complete data when they ask for registrations or some forms. And mostly those users who left incorrect data agrees to that, like they are the social login is one of the good option for the authentication and registration. And Sitecore provides this federated authentication, which Chaturanga, we just saw the identity and all those things, so which enables Sitecore to integrate those third-party social login, which will help you gain more customer registrations and more orders. We have this information related to customers graph. And if we move to customer, we have this total number of registration given duration in this duration. Total customer by order amount. This is a customer who has placed order highest order amount, which is 1082, and customer by number of orders. And here you can get the detailed information about those customer placed orders. I see need some CSS stuff. And this is a top context. So we saw these top customers and then top context. So authenticated and unauthenticated contacts and all those information based on that. Again, same, these are the goals which will be created. These are the pipelines responsible for that, and these are the analytics data which is responsible for storing and retrieving. Now we see the all the reports and all those things. Now what we can do in terms of personalization. So with Sitecore Commerce Analytics, we got these few conditions which is specific for commerce. Something related to cart on your product, quality, quantity, and status, and all those things. This looks quite few, but as the platform will evolve, we'll see a lot more conditions here. To overcome that, we can also use this old condition which is already there with Sitecore XP platform. Based on user journey, we are raising different events, goals, and outcome in user journey. So we can use this condition as well along with the commerce specific conditions. We'll see two examples. One example is like order will be free above $70. This banner will be showing once user enters something in the cart more than $50, we'll encourage them to reach 70. This is the site which I'm visiting. This is the product, $35. I'm adding to cart. I don't see any banner. Now I'm adding another product to cart. Now I'll be saying this banner, oh, I have free shipping over $70. Probably I might add one more product to cart to get this deal. So this is the basic example. You can customize it in however you want based on how strategy has been defined by marketers. This can be further customized at great scale. And the second example was like we can use the condition of event goals and outcome, which is out of the box with XP, not related to specifically for commerce. So I'll be logging with a user who has placed an order. So I want to show something different for that user once that user logs in. So as you see, I'm the user who already have placed few orders. So I just change this banner. Probably this can be further defined by marketers. Strategies can be defined. Specific products or rated products can be shown here instead of this banner, which will be personalized conditions. So this can be defined and you can plan your journeys based on that. So you have reports, you have marketing automation campaigns, and then you also have this personalization conditions to personalize content and provide personalization deal. So far, what we have seen, if we do a quick recap, so we see overall 13 analytics reports specific to commerce. We saw experience profile dashboard where we get 6 tabs, which is specific for commerce. We are getting all the information related to orders, shopping cart activities, and all those things specific to a particular customer. So this is first one is the analytics report, which gives you a high level idea, and the second which gives you a particular idea of particular contact or customer. We have 20 around personalization conditions along with a few specific to commerce, few related to page events, outcomes, goals, and so on. And 3 marketing automation plans. We went through 2, one abandoned cart and order created. With Sitecore 9.3, we also have related products, relevant products, marketing automation plan, which you can send to a customer based on the purchase history of the user. So we have these 3 marketing automation plans, and as said, you can define the n number of marketing automation plan. You can create your own activities. For example, even before abandoned cart, if user has visited particular product and haven't added that product to cart, then you can utilize you can create that journey and enable user to add those product which has been visited frequently to add to cart. So those kind of strategies can be defined by marketers. Now what next? So we saw all this out of the box information and we have in terms of reports, conditions, marketing automation plans. The evolving with each evolving version, we are getting a lot of new stuff with Sitecore Commerce, but this is a lot which can be started with. And you can also customize and create your own. For example, I have created few personalization condition here, and I have created few marketing automation activities and different marketing automation plans, which I'll be sharing with a series of blog posts and code on GitHub, so that can be utilized by larger community. So yeah, that's it. So we got a lot of things as a marketers. We need to use this data and define strategies, utilize that things which are coming out of the box right away. If it is not satisfying, we can define this customization, which as a backend will know what are the things getting stored, how those are getting raised, and what are the analytics data, outcome data, how those retrieves and serialize and deserialize data into interaction and context. And if you have any questions now, we are open for questions, and I'm also available in community through the Slack, Pratik Satikuvar, and Twitter P Satikuvar7. You can reach out to me anytime. I'll be happy to share all the information I have.
I think I'm here somewhere. Hey, thank you very much. That was really good.
Thank you.
We've got a couple of questions. One from Santosh. He's left, but it's got a question anyway, and I think some people may have interest in this. Is it possible to integrate Power BI or Google Data Studio?
So you're asking it is possible to integrate Google's data?
I think they seem to be talking about integrating Power BI, which I know is doable, and Google Data Studio. I'm assuming to access these analytics.
Yeah. So like it's already enabled, like Power BI. You can integrate, and you can integrate the analytics, and you can see all the reports there, which is already possible even without the Sitecore Commerce. It's already possible with normal analytics report, which we get with Experience Pro Analytics platform. So similar to those, again, these are not the new things which comes with Sitecore Commerce. It's eventually the same events, goals, outcomes, and all those things which we write on context, interaction, which is getting that retrieve. We have different dimensions for that, so that those should be easily be integrated in Power BI, as if other reports is getting integrated to Power BI.
Cool. Ivan wanted to know, do you need both the view and the pipeline processor? I'm sorry, I missed that, but so I'm not quite entirely sure of the context. Might need a bit more context around that.
So you are talking about the pipelines and the analytics data?
Yeah, I think so. If you hear, Ivan, do you want to clarify that question a bit?
Okay, so let me just revise that for the backend developers. So we have a few components which is built for storefront, right? For example, add to cart component, which will do a lot of things, and at the end, in between that, we'll have pipelines which will raise few events, which will be responsible for raising the page events, goals and outcomes. Then those events will eventually call this analytics data. And in analytics data, we define what are the custom values and what are the format in which we are storing into the interaction and we are retrieving. So those analytics data classes will be used by different processors in this pipeline, which is convert to XConnect event. So if you see here, these are the events which will be raised, which is specific to each custom unique user journey. And in this event, we'll be calling that analytics data that give me this data in the form which we want to store into interaction, and then that analytics data, which again will be utilized to retrieve those data which is being stored. So that analytics data or outcome data manages the way in which format the data is being stored and retrieved. So if I directly, if I write my custom component, and if I just raise goal or outcome, and I can define very well the custom values there without using this analytics or outcome data. But then if Sitecore is expecting in a different way, retrieving the data or storing the data, then we'll see some discrepancy there. So it's always advisable to use analytics data or outcome data to change anything which you are storing or retrieving to analytics.
Okay, thanks. Ivan clarified a bit, and he said it was about the first visit data where you showed in the presentation detail as well as the pipelines. Just wondered if you need both.
Might not have understood your question completely. Do you want me to go to a particular slide?
Yeah, we've got a few minutes. Yeah, carry on. So he's talking about, you showed a view in the presentation detail as well as the pipeline, and he just wondered, did you need both?
Yeah, so as I said just now, for example, this is the simplest approach where we are not performing any operation, we are just landing on category or product page, so that we have specified different specific component which do only this operation, which is raising event. So this is the event from where we'll be raising the pipeline. Pipeline will raise, use this analytics data, and then those data will be stored to contact. Similarly, for all the other information like cart and order and all those things, will not have the specific components, but those will be part of different components we get out of the box with storefront commerce. For example, add to cart component, mini cart component, which have functionality to remove, update on cart. So all those components will have all this functionality, will have series of pipelines in between that. This pipeline will be there, which will be called for raising the page events and goals and outcomes. So yes, the journey is the component will raise the pipeline will utilize the analytics data, and then analytics data at the end will write data to your contact interaction analytics database.
Thank you, Pratik. That was great.
Yeah,
You said, yeah, that was the slide he was looking for. So I think you nailed that one. If there's any more questions, drop them into the questions window. You don't have to wait until the end of the session to ask a question. You can ask during the session. That's fine. We'll store them all up. If there's any more questions, fire them in now. Give you a minute or two.
Sure.
Okay, that probably seems to be our better. Thank you very much, Pratik. I really appreciate your time and presenting to us today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Okay, I believe we've got Christians joining us now to talk about let the editors maintain their policies again in real time. I don't know if we should let the editors do anything at all, but that's just my opinion. But just while we wait for that, we're supporting the COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund here this 24-hour period. We're supporting the United Nations and the World Health Organization, and specifically it's helping the front line people who are working through these really difficult times. So do get over there and donate. I think we've made about 1,700 euros so far, so we've got a bit of a way to go on the target. So if you can, it doesn't need to be a big donation, just any donation would be great. So I think we've got about 9 minutes till Christian's due to start. So we'll probably just hang around and talk for a while. If you've got any questions, fire them up in the questions window. We might get Christian in to join us. Are you in here, Christian? Can you hear all right?
I'm here.
Oh, great.
I can also directly try to share my webcam.
Yep.
Hi.
Yeah, perfect. Welcome.
Okay.
Right, so I mean, the title of the topic's quite intriguing. Letting editors maintain their policies. I'd just rather they didn't try and insert HTML in places they shouldn't.
Yeah, in the end, it's quite an interesting topic because it's from real world. So I had real world scenarios, real world requirements. So I think it's worth it to share my insights. So hopefully everyone sees it's the same.
Excellent. Yeah. So, I mean, there are, as developers, we get right carried away, don't we? We get our requirements and we build these amazing sites, but oh, so often it turns out they get handed over to the content editors who are like, what the, how do I, what? And you go into a whole new cycle of change requests and rebuilds and things like that. So yeah, it's definitely important to get them in early, I think.
Yep.
So I have one question. Can I already share my slides, or I have the same slides so I can check if my presentation is okay. Is that
Yeah,
possible?
that's your slide up there. That looks fine. Yeah.
No, I'm going to make you presenter. One second.
Yes. So let me see, what am I sharing?
Oh, there we go.
Yep, you can see your desktop.
Yep. That should be the one.
Yep.
So that should be presentation in also in presentation mode. Great.
Yeah, that's it.
Donation
There's
slide.
also we've got a sort of a chill out room. I think there's another slide which has got the URL for that. So if you just want to pop over and catch up with your friends from around the world, Christian's going to find that slide and pop it up, and you can pop over there. Hey, where's the guy? He says.
Pop up the slide is quite a bit difficult. So I just have one screen, so I have to just move in the screen. Wait a second, but the slide is still here. I can hopefully you should see in a second. Not this slide, no. It should be while we are waiting. This slide, yes. But
It is showing donation slide.
yeah, it's not this.
There we go. The breakout room slide.
Now it should change. Just give it a second. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. And so you don't pass that site, the password around. We don't want to get Zoom bombed. Happy to be at a user group. Happy to Corey Smith at a user group. So it wasn't much fun. It was pretty surreal, but wasn't it? Didn't make for a good user group session. So you can pop over there and catch up with all your buddies from around the world.
Yeah. Seems to be very silent there now. Zoom.
Is it? Yeah, everyone's gone to bed in America.
Yeah.
So the registration's been really interesting so far. 426 from India taking the lead there on the tally table, followed by the United States, 351, 199 in the UK, and 198 in Australia. Now, I'm wondering about that picture.
20 from New Zealand.
20, yeah. Good work, New Zealand. Holding our own in these difficult times. Well, we're a couple of 3 minutes away from getting started, Christian. So if you're ready to go, we might just drop off and let you go for it. Give us a little bit of extra time for answers.
Then let me just share the right slides again. So